Hi there and welcome to this Contact a Family podcast. In this podcast we're going to be looking at the issue of bullying and specifically practical advice on how to approach the school if you've got concerns about your child being bullied. Of course, bullying can happen to any child, but from the families we've spoken to, we know that children with special educational needs or a disability can be more vulnerable. Understandably, this can be massively stressful for families and parent carers, so we wanted to put together some tips and advice that would help move towards resolving any bullying issues. To do that, we thought we'd speak to two experienced mainstream primary school teachers and ask them to share their ideas.
Hi, my name is Helen Namby. I'm currently the deputy head in a small school where I'm also the SENCO, but in the last 20 years I've worked in big primary schools and smaller primary schools, and I worked with some Year 7 children in Canada.
My name is Samantha Griffiths. I'm the head teacher at the same school that Helen works in. Helen's my deputy. I've worked in primary schools for the last 20 years, both large primary schools, community schools and smaller schools. I've also been a teaching and learning consultant for the borough and worked with schools that have demanded intensive support.
So first of all, if a parent has got concerns about their child being bullied, at what point is it best to get in touch with the school to air their concerns?
I think that could go in as soon as you find an issue, or as soon as something's happened at home, or as soon as you see a change in your child that's not normal, because you'll probably find at school they're finding the same sort of thing. So I think the earlier you can go and raise your concerns, the better.
And not necessarily have a big evidence base. Sometimes you just know as the parent there's something has shifted in your child, and that's fine. We would prefer to have a conversation about it and to be monitoring your child more closely, or just with a bit more depth, I suppose.
So can you share some ideas around how a parent can get in touch?
It's important that schools have heard your concerns. So if you ring up and you need an appointment, make it clear as to what it is about, because if it's about bullying, we always make sure that we see that parent that day, because there's a child at the end of all of this, isn't there, or children, and so we always make sure that we're prioritising their safety and their welfare beyond anything. So from my perspective as the head, if I've got a parent coming in and they talk to me about their child being bullied or something that's risen its head at home, then it's helpful for me to already know that they're coming in to talk to me about that, because then I can start to talk to the class teacher, the teaching assistant that they might be working with, the children that are involved if it's appropriate at that point. And so also it helps me to have a better insight into how I can help the parent before they arrive, and that again is a better way of using that time up too.
And who might be available for the parent to contact within the school?
I think if you are coming in to see your teachers, that to be aware first thing in the morning is a very busy time for teachers. So if it's something really dramatic that needs to be dealt with right there and then, and your child can't possibly be, you don't want your child in school without that conversation being had, that it might not be your class teacher who can see you for that it might need to be either your deputy or your SENCO. And I think as well, probably a big tip is to find somebody that you're comfortable talking to. So it might be your class teacher, it might not be, and certainly for us we know there are people that prefer one or other of our styles, so you find the person that you can talk to and have that conversation with.
So in terms of actually when it comes to the parent and the school meeting together, can you share some ideas around ways to make the most out of that time and make it the most constructive meeting possible?
In terms of top tips, I think you've got to try and come prepared to a meeting, because it's when you're really emotional, you forget those big points, and we've all done it. We've all been in situations where we've walked in and thought we're going to make these points, and then we've walked out and we haven't made them. So if you can bullet some of those points, because you are probably going to be very upset, and for a lot of our parents, very anxious about coming into school, and certainly talking, it can be anxious for parents to talk to the class teacher, let alone come and sit in the head teacher's office and have that conversation. So have a dialogue, come prepared, then also be very clear about who's going to do what. So what's going to be done about what you've presented to the member of staff, and when it will be done by, and then also how it will be followed up, so you're kept in the loop and you know that things have been done and acted upon and solved as well. But I would encourage any parent as well, if they're not satisfied, to come back in and to speak to the same person again, or to say that didn't quite work, or to see somebody else.
Keep going
but
till you're satisfied.
Keeping children safe is everybody's business in school.
So before we finish up today, I just wondered if you could summarise the key points from what we've discussed.
Come sooner rather than later, to have your preparation and have your bullet points down. Find the person that you know you can talk with, and if you can't see the person right there and then, make the very next possible time.
Thanks for listening today. We hope you enjoyed this Contact a Family podcast. For more information on supporting your child through bullying issues, visit our website at www.cafamily.org.uk/bullying. And if you'd like to speak to one of our parent advisors, you can call our free helpline on 0808 808 3555. And that's open from Mondays to Fridays from 9:30 a.m. until 5 p.m. Contact a Family is a member of the SEND anti-bullying programme led by the Anti-Bullying Alliance. And for more information, you can visit www.anti-bullyingalliance.org.uk.